It's 7:05 Saturday morning, 13th of December. Windshear, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're inside the wind tunnel here for the final day, day 6 of actual testing across the 3 cars involved in the aero homologation process for 2026. So control room's active at the moment. The Supra is in the tunnel. If you look in here, there's 888, Team 18, Supercar and Walkinshaw Andretti United personnel. So I'll give you a quick tour of what's going on. So there's an enormous number of people here. The best part of 30 odd people have come up from various points in Australia. We're looking at data as the Supra is in the tunnel. These are the dollars that we're currently spending in USD to this point, and the airspeed in the tunnel and the belt speed is 200 kilometres an hour, which is the baseline reference for all of the testing. Supercar personnel, WAU personnel, Team 18 personnel and 888 personnel. So come with me and have a quick look at what's going on. Morning, Coxie. And we're all completely and utterly stuffed. So most of the days have been somewhere between about 14 to 18 hours. I think it's really important for all supercar fans and everybody in the industry to understand the level of collaboration between the 3 brands and the level of collaboration across these teams to make sure that we can put the very best possible show together. So this is the 888 Mustang. It's now been fully signed off and it's ready for their assault in 2026. And you can see that there's still a lot of tape on the car. One of the questions, in fact, Adrian Burgess and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, one of the questions that bobs up is, why are the cars taped? Well, we want to get the aero numbers on the car in their pure shape and form and understand what that looks like, so you're comparing apples and apples. Then following that process, and this is obviously the Camaro that these guys have just finished, what they'll do is they'll pluck the tape off, and then they'll go through a scanning process, which Mitch Timms from Supercars was doing last night when I left at about 10:30. So these little, I'm just going to call them bubbles, they'll have some sort of a technical name, Adrian, but they're sensors on the car, and this scanning device over here is used to get a full 3D scan of the car, and when you see it all lit up, it's really extraordinary. So what that means, and this car's now been signed off as well, both the Mustang and the Camaro, and ultimately the Supra when it finishes its run and we get it paritised, get fully scanned. Then they take the tape off and then understand what all those margins look like, and then it's up to the teams to quality control that through the year, because you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that every little gap, every little millimetre in terms of panel fit makes an enormous difference to the behaviour of the car. But it's a truly extraordinary process. And even right now, for example, Dutto just left a moment ago, both Supercars and 888 went out and bought these little 3D scanners, printers. So they're printing parts constantly as we keep on fiddling with all of the cars, and this has been going on. We got here on the 4th of December, today's the 13th of December, and they're just whirring away. So they start out with effectively a resinous material, and then, as many of you know, it gets shaped into some of all these different little things that are on the car. What is truly extraordinary is how tiny little things make such huge differences. You can see there's bits of junk lurking around here everywhere at the moment, but a millimetre here or a millimetre there completely changes the lift drag behaviour of these cars. And this year, we were here 2 years ago, this year one of the things that's changed is the cars not only have to fit in a parity box where their lift, which is downforce, and their drag have to match, but they also have to work into sensitivity boxes, because race cars pitch, they roll, and they yaw. And that's actually been a much, much bigger challenge. And this has been one of the finite things that the industry's worked on. And obviously there's a lot of noise during this championship year about the way in which the Mustang was behaving. So Supercars have taken it to the next level, to a very, very high level. We've been working with NASCAR and IndyCar teams here this week who are raising their eyebrows about that level of complexity. So we're right in the guts of Windshear here. There's 6 bays all the way along here where different teams can seal off and work independently without revealing anything. Earlier in the week there was a TRD, Toyota Racing Development NASCAR at the end. Andretti's came down here with an IndyCar. An IMSA team pulled up yesterday. They're going to be running one of their sports cars through the program. I think the Cadillac F1 car gets done in here. All the WEC cars from the World Endurance Championship and the FIA Championship gets done. These are all NASCAR tyres, ready for tests coming up next week. Every car that goes into the tunnel has this material on it so that it doesn't adhere to the belt as they start to rotate, because the last thing you want is varying levels of grip. They've even got their own substation next to Windshear to power this joint, because it takes a massive amount of percentage power out of the grid in Charlotte, North Carolina. So Tim Edwards and Carl Foe are down at the other end as they go through the process with the Supra. And once this run is finished, I'll take you inside and show you what's going on with the Toyota. So we've just completed another of the sequences with the Supra. Phil Keed from Brad Jones Racing, Tim Edwards who heads motorsport. They're looking at the data that's just come out of it, and I won't show you too much of that detail, but it's there. The cars are in the box and all very close now, so that last test was a useful one. So this is the control room. So in here is where they're actually functioning the wind tunnel. We've got JJ from Team 18 and GM. You've got Pete Ringwood from 888 looking after Ford and Mustang. You've got Tim Milne in the black shirt from Dynamic in the UK, looks after the CFD, the computational fluid dynamics, and Perry Kappa from Supercars. They're controlling the whole test procedure. And as I said before, there's an enormous amount of collaboration. Cam Cox has just done tyre pressures on the Supra, and here's our new baby. It's the new kid in town. So we've just put we're calling them wheel bands on the front of the car so that the airflow is shaped in a different form around the front tyre. It's just made a significant difference to the drag. So very quickly we've got to get out of here. Giant fan, 300 km/h breeze goes through, stainless steel belt with load cells in the bottom of it, sitting on an air cushion as well, and a venturi to squeeze the air. Low and high pressure makes the pace. I'm being thrown out of here, and we'll do another test now and see whether we can validate it. But this whole facility is owned by Gene Haas from the Haas Formula One team, and it pretty much works 7 days a week. We were in here at 5:30, start up at 6, and some of the runs go through until midnight. It's really important to emphasise the investment made by Supercars, which, wow, it is hundreds of thousands, probably close to $1 million odd, and the collaboration across this entire group of people, many of which you see in the telecast, is genuinely outstanding. So there is a gigantic effort to make the very, very, very best possible show.